Well, I'd like to give an announcement about the racial breakdown of our nation and the future of which racial demographic is growing and which is shrinking. Now, it turns out, I can barely contain myself here. It's amazing, but it turns out there's going to be way more white people in the future. Right now, there's 62% white in the country, but at the current rate, there's been an uptick in white breeding. So by the year 2050, there's going to be 82% white people. That means less brown and blacks. Can I get an amen? Yeah! Yes! Yes! Less brown and black people, folks. Less! Is that great or what? Stand up and applaud that stat. I would like for you to recognize and notice just how you feel about hearing somebody express that idea. Now, you might be so brazen as to call what you just heard racist. And if it wasn't satire, you might have a point. Because somebody celebrating and applauding the fact that certain races in their country are getting outbred and are shrinking is racist. Oh yeah, it is. Yes, that is true. Very racist. Now, of course, it would be toxic for a white person to say something like this. However, if you are a progressive and you think progress is the minimization and lessening of white people in the world, if your entire platform is fuck white people, then yeah, it's actually an applause line. To say the following, by the year 2050, whites will be a minority in this country, that is an applause line. Imagine that situation. Well, don't imagine it.
1,000 years of darkness if this country stops being this country and we just become a second Mexico, which is where we're headed right now.
All right, there's so much to say, but I just going to give you one more Ann Coulter quote here, and then we'll take another question. In 1960, whites were 90% of the country. The Census Bureau recently estimated that whites already account for less than 2/3 of the population and will be a minority by 2050. Other estimates put that day much sooner.
It is a remarkable thing to see what these progressives think progress is. Progress is getting rid of white people one way or another, outbreeding them, shaming them out of existence, demonizing them at every turn, blaming them for every fucking thing. This is what they are doing. This is the end goal. Now, some of us white people will not be guilted and shamed into a corner. Some of us will stand up and say, ha ha, and laugh in your face and point out the absurd agenda which you are trying to peddle out onto the delusional masses. It's not working on me. I'm quite aware of your horrifically racist agenda, Mr. Brown Man.
One may assume the new majority will not be such compassionate overlords as the white majority has been.
Yeah, it's like
Said the woman who just said, oh yeah, we might owe blacks a couple of things, but you know, I mean, the whites have been such sensitive overlords of minorities in this country.
You did the, in other words again, I said nothing of the sort.
Once again, the anti-white bigotry is startling and comical to observe. And as far as people bitching and saying, oh, poor you white people, look at all your white tears. As usual, I use my white tears to lubricate your orifice as I fuck you. Either metaphorically, or if you happen to be so lucky and know me in person, personally. Most of you will have to settle for witnessing me fucking you intellectually. Sorry about that. Hey everybody, here's a new study. By the year 2050, we're going to have very, very few Turkish people. Turkish people, fat brown buffaloes in this nation, will be next to nil. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Fucking Turkish, am I right? Yeah! Right.
Saying black Americans, people who are descended from slaves and from people who were discriminated.
I know, but in that quote...
Jim Crow. Oh, that's so original. Oh, I've never heard that before. Descendants of people who were enslaved, who were victims of Jim Crow, incidentally enforced by the Democrats.
Instead of wasting that time repeating your point, I was asking about that quote,
well, if you're going to
where
do
you
one
said that whites were such benevolent overlords.
Got the question. But your in other words here is wasting a lot of time. No, it wasn't in other words. You said something about black people. I was talking about how the country is changing from immigrants we are bringing in who are piggybacking on the black experience. Will the new immigrants, my overlords, be as compassionate as the white overlords are? I think it was illustrated when you read that quote. When you got to, whites will be a minority, I heard the audience cheer. Can you imagine an audience of white people cheering? Oh, it's going to be all white. No, you cannot. Those are your new overlords.
Any CPAC speech, you get it. They would love that line. Yes, I can imagine that audience. Okay.
Ann Coulter with an observant and accurate point, absolutely shaming everybody in the room. Beautiful. And then Cenk ends it with another racist fuck white people comment. So Cenk doesn't admonish his crowd that just applauded the racial ethnic cleansing of this country and the overt racism against white people. No, he ignores that. And instead, he fires off a speculative racist accusation against white Republicans. Just, yeah, you guys would probably be all in favor of the whole country being white. That is an insight into how this guy operates. He's like a fucking racist fire hose. He's a racist sprinkler. The kind of sprinkler that goes in all directions. He's racist against black people in a condescending paternalistic way. He's racist against white people in an old-fashioned racist way. He's racist against Armenians in a I deny the Armenian genocide way. He's racist against Jews because he's an absolute Jew-hating anti-Semitic buffalo. The man's racist as can be. Look at that fucking tree stump just planted on that chair. God, what a fucking waddler he is. Low center of gravity. Fuck, the man is gravity. I'm surprised those water bottles aren't orbiting the guy right now. Cenk, you're a piece of poop. Cenk, you're a piece of poo. And you're brown. And I, as a white person, I'm noticing your racism towards white people. I see